The moment that red light on, Ozzy becomes Ozzy Osbourne. Mike was looking at me going, oh my God, it's just power. Ozzy knows how to turn on work mode, like you say.
Rock, metal, prog, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. Don't forget to follow the audio-only Talkin' Rock podcast on all podcast platforms. And now, it's time for today's conversation. Here's Meltdown.
Billy, good to see you, man. How's things in your world?
Things are busy as always, and it's good to see you too. We're getting on with it. It looks like another at least top 10, hopefully number one for Gods of Rock and Roll. So I'm doing a round of letting people know that it's out there.
Yeah, letting them know that it's out there, and also that you got these deluxe versions. The records.
Yeah.
I'm a vinyl guy, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see records in vinyl. Look, the experience I had when I was a kid of going to a record store and flicking through vinyl and gatefold sleeves and colored vinyl, I love those memories. Not only that, getting to do a deluxe edition of anything is more fun than the original because now I've been given a green light to do remixes and contact people like Youth from Killing Joke did a remix. Like that blows my mind that I now have a Youth remix. So it's kind of licensed to have some extra fun with a record that was already successful, and obviously put out the second single with Ozzy. That's always nice. And also the track with Cypress Hill is on there. That didn't make the original version, and now it's just nice to get all the extra music out,
No, that's great. And you know what's cool about this song? And so I've been in this business for over 3 decades, and my family is in no way, shape, or form related to anything in this business. They do their own thing, blah, blah, blah. My son, who's 22, came up to me the other day and he told me how much he liked that song. Now, that doesn't happen every day.
Did he really?
Yeah, which is kind of like, I wouldn't just say this to you, just make it up. But when my son says that, or my wife, then I go, let me take another listen to this.
I think it's got huge crossover potential. Most people love Ozzy,
Yeah.
but not everyone likes metal or hard rock. This is a ballad for the ages. The lyrics hit home. The orchestration that Fred Corey did is undeniable. Sometimes there's just a song that transcends being rock or metal, and it's just a beautiful song. And I'm proud to have written it.
Yeah. No, it's great. The only complaint I have about the song is that I think it ends too soon.
Oh, dude, don't give me that. We had to do radio edits because it was too long, and they're not going to play it on the radio if it's the length of a song. We should be left alone as artists to do exactly what we want, and if we want a 9-minute song, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So it does end a little abruptly on the radio mix. Here's what you do. Go buy the version on iTunes or Amazon or Spotify. Now you'll hear how we ended it.
Yeah, no, it's great. So yeah, I mean, hey, 9-minute, songs like that, like let's see, November Rain, for example, right? It's like,
yeah, exactly. They let Guns N' Roses do it back in the day.
Yeah, no doubt. So, of course, obviously, you just mentioned Fred Curie from Cinderella. He's done a bunch of things. Steve Stevens just rips on this thing. Talk about getting those guys involved.
So Gods of Rock and Roll was a song purely written by me and Ozzy 10 years ago. And I just didn't want to look, I can play lead guitar. I'm not bad, but I didn't want not bad. I wanted incredible. And so when you want incredible, you go to Steve Stevens. He's one of the greatest lead guitar players on the planet. And luckily, he loved the song. He played the solo. And then Fred, who knew that the drummer of Cinderella orchestrates 60-piece orchestras, But the guy who mixed my record, Barry Pointer, he said, I knew who Fred was, obviously. Fred does orchestration. And it just rolled organically into me asking my label for many thousands of dollars to pay for an orchestra. And luckily, my label are very cool. And Dennis and Pete and Eric over at TLG Zoid said, sure, we'll give you the money. Let's get an orchestra and a choir. We had a local school choir um, sing the line, to get that Pink Floydy brick in the wall type massiveness.
Mhm.
We threw the kitchen sink at this version.
No, it's fantastic. And by the way, Fred, of course, from Cinderella, like you mentioned, one of my favorite 80s rock bands, but he does a lot of this stuff nowadays,
Yeah.
including the stuff in arena stuff for like sporting events.
Yeah, I've been over to his studio now. I mean, we're friends, and yeah, he's beavering away behind the scenes at stuff none of us will ever know he did. But here's the thing, Fred gets paid.
Yeah.
And when you're out there on the road in a little rock band, maybe you're not getting paid so much. So Fred's got his head screwed on correctly.
Yeah. So the record and all the stuff comes out. Well, March 7th, this coming Friday, is
Yeah.
when the 12-inch comes out, correct?
Yeah, so what we've done, the deluxe edition is 18 songs. That is available now on all the DSPs, the digital streaming platforms. But if you are like me and you like the vinyl, we've done a double vinyl, gatefold sleeve, completely different artwork, blue vinyl and white vinyl. And that comes out March 7th. And we're trying to support mum and pop record stores,
Hmm.
brick and mortar. They're few and far between. So we've got a list of 60 record stores across the country, and we have sent them a limited edition 12-inch single of the Cypress Hill song, Phenomenon, and the DMC song, Just Like a Movie. So we've done this kind of rock hip hop mashup 12-inch single, which is free if you go to one of those stores and buy the deluxe edition.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll send everybody out there. Of course, there's a lot of record stores here in Detroit, just like what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't ask me who, where. I've seen Detroit on the list, so
Right.
there is a store in Detroit that is doing this. I just don't, go on my social media and have a look, and there's a list.
All right, yeah, we'll check that out. So, as I was saying, I've been in this business for a little over 3 decades. Actually, 35 years ago, I made my first ever airship like a month ago, or whatever the case is. But I can recall listening to Ozzy in 7th grade, and my friend told me, and I've talked about this before. I went home and I heard the song "Crazy Train," and that moment changed my life. So, what is it like working with Ozzy all these years?
Um, it's difficult to answer that because really he's my best friend, and our friendship is not really based on music. Um, the first few conversations we had, we didn't talk about Black Sabbath or Ozzy Osbourne or Billy Idol or Billy Morrison. We talked about how we missed English candy and where we went on vacation where we were a kid. So I'm aware that Ozzy is one of the most iconic rock and roll frontmen we've ever seen and will ever see. However, when I'm hanging out with him, it's just kind of like two teenagers being stupid. I'm very honored and fortunate that he likes the music that I've written and has filmed two amazing videos for two amazing songs that we've written together. We've written other songs together. There are other songs around that probably won't see the light of day. Who knows? Who cares? You
Mhm.
know, my friendship with Ozzy transcends that stuff. And when the song is right, and Crack Cocaine and Gods of Rock and Roll were right for him, Sharon then says, yeah, this is right for Ozzy. She manages his brand, his career, and I'll never push to get something done that she doesn't want done. I just roll with whatever they want, and that's probably why we're still friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I have some friends that are pretty big in the music industry. And it's funny because just like you, it's like you talk to them, you hang out with them, you drink, and do whatever the case is. But I've seen them once they go into work mode, it's work mode.
Yeah, and as it should be. And I've seen that obviously with Ozzy. Look, when we recorded Ozzy, I can't remember what it was, with Mike Clink, the producer who produced Appetite for Destruction.
Yep.
No small producer, no small album, seen his fair share of rock and roll icons. And Ozzy came in and was Ozzy my friend. And so, he was sitting down and didn't exude that strength. And Mike Clink was looking at me going like, is he going to be all right? Is he going to be able to sing this thing? And the moment that red light on, Ozzy becomes Ozzy Osbourne. And Mike was looking at me going, oh my God, it's just power. So they know, Ozzy knows how to turn on work mode, like you say.
Yeah. And obviously you're going to the final show there. They're back to the beginning show of Sabbath.
Unfortunately, no, that's a
Nope.
very sore point. I am playing in Austria the same night.
Oh, okay.
And Sharon invited, I believe Billy Idol was going to be part of the performance, but she didn't realize we had a gig that night. We didn't know when their celebration was actually going to be. And it just worked out that we just can't be there. So, and you know what? Ozzy knows I'm going to be there in spirit and with my heart.
Yeah. And of course, Billy Idol, man, he's getting ready to crank things up again too, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Amazing new single. I've heard the album. It's absolutely spectacular. And I'm fortunate enough to be going around the world supporting this new album with him, So it's no rest for the wicked round here. I've got to tell you, it's pretty busy.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about this when I was getting ready to talk to you. Someone once asked me, "Who do you still want to interview?" Because I've interviewed a lot. I've interviewed Ozzy a bunch of times and stuff. And it's like I think I've never met or interviewed Billy Idol before, so I guess that's on my list.
I'm sure if you go through the right channels, that can happen. I mean, Billy does press, and he's an amazing interview. I've interviewed him from my Sirius show, so he has stories. Let me
Oh,
tell you.
yeah, I bet he does. Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt about that. Well, I'll tell you what, we got a few minutes left here. I wanted to kind of quiz you with some famous Morrisons. Let's see what you know about famous Morrisons.
Oh
Okay.
God, no.
Come on,
Yeah,
this
go on.
only three questions. Here we go. We'll start with the easiest and go to the hardest. The easiest, who was nicknamed the Lizard King?
Jim Morrison.
Okay, see, there you go. See how simple this is? It's real
Yeah,
simple.
it's going to get harder really quickly.
It's going to get pretty hard, especially if you're not a hockey fan. Michigan hockey player and my teammate in the morning hockey. 1997 Hobie Baker Award winner as best player in college hockey. Do you have any guesses?
Look, it's not it's not NFL and it's not MotoGP, so I have no clue, and I'm going to go Trevor Morrison.
Close. Yeah, Brendan Morrison. Very good. He played in the 900 games in NHL. Good guy. All right, final one here for you. Now, this one's kind of tough, but you might know this one. A famous actor who went by the stage name of the Duke is actually his real name was Morrison.
Well, John Wayne.
John Wayne, that's right.
Yeah,
Marion Robert Morrison.
that's not bad. I got 2 out of 3.
Yeah, see, I told you. It was going to go. I mean, hey, listen, I'll give you the hockey one. I didn't know if you were a sports fan at all, but you're a football fan?
I'm a football fan, yeah. Oh God, yeah, we're going to talk about football now because it's embarrassing.
And okay, wait a second. Football like American football?
Yeah, the
Oh,
only football. Yeah, look, I may be English, but I'm not a soccer fan. I'm a football fan.
gotcha. Yeah. What teams do you pull for?
Oh God, that's always the next question. It's embarrassing. So I have 3 teams, okay, and I'll give you the 3 teams. The uh, first team is the Rams because I live in LA. I got to be home guy. So I support the Rams. The second team is a team that I've supported since I first got into football in the 80s, and that's the Raiders. And yes, I'm aware that we have a janitor as a quarterback or something right now. Like, it's just like, what is going on? But I'm not a fair weather fan, so I've supported the Raiders since the 80s. I'll continue to support them. And then I support the Chiefs. And I support the Chiefs pre-Taylor because watching Kelsey and Mahomes, it's pretty spectacular. So I like to see good football, and they were giving us some good football for a lot of years there.
Yeah, you mentioned the Rams. Nita Strauss, of course, does all the stuff inside the stadium, so you got to know her, right?
I've never met Nita, but I'm a huge fan of what she does. And even more now I know she does that stuff inside the stadium. Super jealous.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Rams play.
No, maybe you can get her on an upcoming album.
Yeah, we should get Nita playing. Yeah, she's amazing guitar player.
Yeah, she did that song with David Draymond a couple years
That's
ago.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Disturbed. Well, good luck with everything, Billy. Great to make your acquaintance.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll see you next time you come here through the States. Gods of Rock and Roll. Out with Ozzy right now, of course, the Morrison Project. Tons of stuff happening in your world. Good luck with your tour, and thanks for playing along with my silly games.
Thank you so much for having me and supporting.